Hi, my friends. Welcome to Sort of Brilliant, a show where the characters are made up and the sorting absolutely does matter. My name is Rachel.
And I'm her best friend and co-host, Lauren. Every other week, we're going to invade a fandom and determine whether your favorite character belongs in Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin.
We're the Harry Potter podcast that talks way more about any other franchise.
Here, we use the sorting structure from Harry Potter as a common language without supporting the author or her beliefs. As for the sorting itself, there's bound to be some arguments along the way.
But in the end, we're always right.
According to us.
According to us.
Who's that girl? Who's that girl? It's Jess.
Man, Netflix really doesn't let you skip that every time, and I wish they did.
Hey, girl. What you doing?
Oh, that Kermit voice.
Hey, girl. Where you going?
All right. So we're doing New Girl.
I like that they put it in an episode, so we were aware that, they're actually doing this for her.
Yeah. We needed to know every time.
Yeah, we did need to know that they set up the loft like that so they could do that.
Yeah. I'm not I don't love that intro song. I'm not.
You don't?
I don't.
I do.
Not a fan of the... I don't know. I don't love Zooey Deschanel's singing voice. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't either, but I like the song. It's catchy.
But I can't just, hey, girl. And I can't do it, When we were driving back from our Florida trip, we have like a screen in our car that you could watch shows on. So we were watching it, and we were probably 3 a.m. in the middle of some state, and it was pitch black darkness, and there's no lights, and it was just like the intro would show up, and it was bright fucking white, like bright. And we just continuously got blinded because we were binging New Girl as we drove.
Extremely safe.
Yeah, extremely safe.
Your
but once
still
you start, you can't stop. It was never mine.
It was. You claimed it.
It was never mine. A moment in time.
I'm not going to drink it.
That's really a shame. I have a coffee problem. All right. So we're getting like crazy with it today. We're sorting a whole shit ton of characters because there's a whole shit ton of characters on the show.
And we're not coming back to it, apparently. One and done. Doing them all.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So this is the kind of show where it reminds me of Friends because I want to ask people, who's your top 3? It's such an ensemble cast, obviously, that I like finding out who people's top faves are. I think I know Lauren's, but Lauren, who's your top 3? I know Nick's number 1.
Nick Miller is
because you're a psychopath. He doesn't even crack my top 3. I'm just kidding. He does actually, but you're psychotic.
It's because of your self-shame. Nick Miller is my number 1 by a lot.
That's insane.
By a lot. And then Winston, I think, is second.
Yeah.
And then Schmidt, I think.
Oh, okay. We have the same top 3, but just different. So I have Schmidt number 1, Winston number 2, and Nick number 3. I fucking love Winston so much. But Schmidt's delivery, I piss myself. I can't. It's too much. He's too much. I think we have like a Long Island, New York connection. So I get him sometimes. But he kills me.
It's the deli schmegels or whatever that he likes.
The schmegel? The schmear?
No, he likes the soup. When he
Okay, this is going to be so hard because I watched the first half of the show, like all the up to season 5 with a clear brain, and then season 5 and on allergy medication. That really fucked me up. So I'm not going to be as good at later seasons references. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, that was the Brooklyn Nine-Nine crossover.
Yeah, which I didn't care too much for. But I don't really love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm so sorry to everyone. R.I.P. Your respect for me.
Fine.
I know people love it.
I like it more than Parks and Rec. People can come for me for that. I hate Parks and Rec. I don't. It got really boring after like 2 seasons. I was like,
damn,
nothing's happening. Especially when Andy and April weren't on anymore. I was like, now it's pointless.
They're on it.
No, after like season 4, they're like done.
And I loved Ben, so I was like, okay.
Well,
but this episode is not.
I know
about
what house Ben Wyatt is in.
Me too.
Yeah. Do we think it's the same one?
I don't know. I'm gonna mouth it to you.
Okay. Yeah.
I got it right. No one gets to know. It's a secret. Okay.
Until we do that show we both said we're not into.
Yeah. No, we'll eventually do it because it's like one of the ones. We have to do The Office. We have to do all those.
Yeah, we do.
I'm not excited to do Michael Scott, although I already have him sorted too. I am like clear house for that raging psychopath.
Is it the same house we just said?
No, actually.
Okay.
No, I wanted it to be.
I haven't watched in a long time, so.
Yeah. It's a lot. When we were in the Orlando hotel, like it was like back to basic cable. It was like 20 channels and The Office had a marathon on. So I sat and watched it at night and I was like, oh, fuck. I know I'm going to have to sort this. Like, because this is what this podcast has done to me now. Every time I watch something, I'm just sorting it. So, like constantly. And then I start to get anxiety. I'm like, what if Lauren's not going to agree with me? But Lauren hasn't watched the show yet, so I don't know. Or like Lauren doesn't remember. Like, I don't know. And I give myself
She knows she's not allowed
effects.
to influence my thoughts.
Yeah, I'm not. That's why I haven't talked to you about one of the characters today that I'm attached to sorting, but you're not.
You knew my sorting for all the other ones.
I did, but you notice how I completely kept him off the table.
Yeah, I don't. Well, and you did it. I don't know why you did it because I was done. Like I had watched the show before you, and did you have him sorted before? Like you told me you had him sorted. Okay,
from the first episode, I was like, oh no. Okay, but we gotta stop teasing. We gotta get into it. We're gonna talk about like everybody today. So the pattern doesn't matter. We're gonna come around back to all the mains. Basically all the people who lived in the loft plus Cece. Yeah. So let's go. Should we start with Jess because she's
so they all revolve around her, right? She's that girl. Who's that girl?
Listen, I don't think this is a difficult one.
No.
I'm going to give you all a second to
really
just pause and think about it.
Obvious one.
There, you had your second. She's a Hufflepuff. She's like a humongous Hufflepuff. It's really, really wild. And she really only pushes my belief that my daughter's a Hufflepuff because it's weird. It's like seeing my daughter stretched out and raised and like in human form. I'm like, oh God, this is going to be her.
Love that Jess isn't in your top 3 and she's your daughter.
Honestly, when you frame it like that, I'll have to put Jess as number 1 now. I really do like Jess's character though. It's just that my top 3, they're so ridiculous, I
was going to say, I have a weird relationship with Jess. I could not be friends with her. I would murder her.
She's tough.
But then that's the thing too. Like, I couldn't be friends with her, but if she was my goddaughter, I think that would be an okay relationship. But I can't.
Not as an equal,
right?
As a child forever.
Or somebody I have the hierarchy relationship where
there's an element of power over them.
Yeah.
Because the entire time I'm watching, I'm like, why is Nick into this? and I shit you not, every time they have a relationship. Out by it. Yeah. I just don't. We'll talk about that when we get to Nick. But
Nick is funny because Jess is so open with her feelings and like singing them and artsing them and expressing them, and to Nick he's like weird, and he's into it.
Dude, I have so much to say about Nick. But yeah, no. I completely agree with you. It's just that every single time I was watching them get into an argument or even like that first big breakup, it was like season 3. I'm like, this is entirely Jess's fault. Like Nick has done fucking nothing. Actually, the birthday episode where he puts that shit up on the screen for her and everything, like you're insane for breaking up with him.
That was extremely cute. No, it was that they didn't want the same things for their future, which is a relevant reason to break up if you're not going in the same direction.
Nick's malleable.
He very much is.
She should have known.
Also, like, you asked him on the wrong day. Like, the next day, he'll want to be an astronaut. And so you just,
But so Jess, like, very hardcore Hufflepuff, right? Like, very work-oriented. She's a teacher, and then she wants to be an assistant principal, and she wants
principal,
to be
vice principal,
Yeah. Not assistant principal. That's my teacher brain. This is the fake world of teaching.
You don't have vice principals?
Some of it's no, I said assistant principal. I was thinking AP, and it's a vice principal. They're different roles. Assistant to the regional manager.
Dropping that teacher knowledge.
Not really. It depends on the school. But anyway, that's not how you become a vice principal at fucking all. She would have needed to go back to school for that.
Well, that school was kind of insane.
It's a separate degree. Yeah, I know. Metatron school. Yeah. Metatron school.
Freaking Curtis Booger, yeah. Curtis, who's funny. If you read his autobiography, he shot New Girl and Supernatural at the same time. So
No way.
Yeah, so his chapter on those shows are together, and he's like flipping back and forth between talking about the two casts.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm sure he enjoyed it. He got to play a total weirdo.
Yeah, both times, yeah.
Yeah. He really did. He got to shine. But she's very work oriented and very justice oriented. And very much
like the
like
justice
her
is
brand of
annoying.
justice.
Like that whole the whole jury duty thing was because Zooey Deschanel got pregnant and they needed her off the show for a while. But it you don't even blink. It's so in character that Jess would be. It's so in character that Jess would be like, it's my civic duty and I'm so proud to be a juror, and and then try to get out of it because she has a chance to be principal, and then not get out of it and be like teacher's pet about being a juror. Like they talk about how she was like raising her hand all the time. And so she just she's 100,000% dedicated.
You know, the one
to every single thing she does.
Like really bugged me was the Chinese food restaurant menu.
Oh my God.
Where they have MSG and for her whole crusade is bullshit. She wants to take the kids on a field trip and they won't let her take them on a field trip to the beach. And she's like, well, now I have to find a new crusade to save the planet and save the oceans. And I'm going to attack this Chinese food restaurant.
They put 7 of the same flyers under her door in the same day.
And I agree. That's annoying. But her way of going about it was a very Hufflepuff. She was not. Yeah. It's scary. She's not actually a scary Hufflepuff. She has moments where she can be.
Yes.
Was it Cece's first wedding? Oh, it was Cece's first wedding. Where she's on the phone with one of Cece's relatives, and she's like, "Bitch, this isn't about you."
Yes. Yeah. When she's maid of honor. Yeah. 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 She does. She gets that way about the people she loves. Yeah.
Yes.
Or she's done it at Nick. She's got so she gets
Well, there's
scary.
that whole scene where Reagan first comes.
Yeah.
And she tells him, "Shut up."
Yeah. She has moments with the guys where she's like, "No, for real, I'll cut you." And they're like, "We believe you."
And they do.
That's the thing too. Yeah, they believe her. So she runs the apartment. She has the rules and don't do anything until we figure out don't hang the dog painting when Winston takes down the entire wall. Oh my
God.
Yeah, she runs the apartment. They depend on her. That is her role. She's their mom. I don't know how.
Yeah, and you have to see and acknowledge the power she has, because she breaks Schmidt in one episode. Really breaks his brain over a china cabinet. Yeah. Because she won't. And I mean, to her credit, Schmidt was being a psycho about it. Just let her have the piece of wood or whatever she wanted in there. But she was like,
it didn't go with the decor.
Okay, now I'm going to destroy you.
Yeah.
And she straight up does.
It's you need to chill and not be so OCD.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, she breaks him.
Yeah. I also I was thinking this in the episode where she's singing and one of the kids is like, "That's cringe," and puts it on YouTube and makes fun of her and whatever. I felt like that was a very Hufflepuff way of dealing with it at the end. The other houses would have had way more ego about it, and she was straight up like, "Now we're all gonna sing together." Now
that was an episode where she was scary too. She freaking broke that kid's science project.
Yeah, she fucking broke it. Oh my God. So me and my husband as teachers are watching it, and our souls were crushed. I can't imagine ever doing that to a child's project. Even we've had kids say horrible things. I had a kid smack me in the face. Like a little first grader smack me in the face. Don't worry. I'm fine. I could take him. But we just never do that. And she did it so it was like a natural instinct to break that child's project.
And then she was going to let it go until the parents started verbally abusing the kid in front of her. And then she was like.
And then but that's the other Hufflepuff thing. She admitted it.
Yeah, she did. In front of everybody, in front of her boss.
In front of the parents.
And then her boss's response was to be like, "You're finally one of us. You're not perfect anymore."
That's insanity.
But it's also very Hufflepuff that all these teachers resented her because she'd never pissed all over a kid's dreams before.
And she gets straight up excess from her school, and they're like, "But you can have something from the box." And she's like, "Okay." And she's somewhat fine with being able to take something from the box as I would have fucking punched that box. Are you kidding? But she's very Hufflepuff reactions to everything.
Yeah, when she has feelings for that teacher who dollar store Ben Barnes, Oh
my God.
She's very against it because it's immoral. Like, she's like, I'm not going to do it. Like, it's immoral. I'm his superior. I'm the principal. Like, I can't do it. And then she can't stop herself. So then her whole thing is that, like, she's worried about what the other teachers think of her, and she's trying to appease them. There's a scene. I want
to appease like little communities that she wants to be a part of.
Yeah, no, like, but all these teachers are like, it's not fair. So she's trying to give them like the field trip they want, even though it's super shitty. Right? She can't show favoritism. No. There's a scene, and I wish I had it word for word because it's actually insanity, and it's Schmidt's exact house too. It's Schmidt and Jess sitting in a car together, and Schmidt is like, so you just worry about what people think about you all the time? And Jess is like, yes, literally every second of the day.
And he's like, that's exhausting. How do you get anything done?
He's like, that's insanity. Like, imagine in the Schmidt voice, like, that's insanity.
That's insanity.
But it's
but she does
both their
work that
houses.
way.
Like, that entire conversation, you can just watch that and be like, oh, that's Schmidt and Jess. Like,
they have a crazy dynamic.
They do.
They have,
it's a power struggle.
Sometimes on this show, I get so irritated with sorting the first character because I can't talk about them in relation to the other characters' houses, which I want to do, and that's happening right now. I'm feeling very frustrated about it. But
what house is
we'll
Rachel?
Call back to Jess for sure. Anyway, and then also, like, with the very harsh judgment of things, she's very judgmental.
She's got immediate judgment. Yep.
Her dad's girlfriends. Which was Caitlin Olsen. That was funny. Trashly. But also, like, the people she loves. So, like, she has no, like, when they think Nick is sick, like with cancer or something serious, he's like, whatever, you can't ever be serious about anything. Like, he's poking fun at her, and she's like, really? Because you don't do fucking anything with your life. And it's kind of pathetic, actually. Or, like, Cece's birthday with all the models.
Yeah.
She's straight up like, she's above this. This is stupid. Why is she doing this job? And Cece overhears it. Like, she just flat out says things, but then she immediately also owns them and owns that it's fucked up and tries to make amends for it, which I also feel is pretty Hufflepuff. She brings the hammer of justice on herself, too. All the time. Like, she doesn't let herself get away with things.
Oh, God, yeah. No, she judges herself.
Yeah.
Really hard.
She's
not a holier. I don't think she's a holier than thou Hufflepuff.
I don't think so either. Because you can't be friends with all of them. You know? Like, Schmidt has a holier than thou thing, but he's so goddamn ridiculous that it's like, okay, whatever, Schmidt. But I don't think Jess does
like
at all.
That is who Schmidt is. Like, you meet him and he's like, hey, I'm holier than thou. I think I'm better than you. And you're like, all right, this is what I'm getting into when I interact
over
with
here
Schmidt.
with these peasants. He's so fucking funny. I want to talk about Schmidt. But yeah, Jess is like hella crazy Hufflepuff, man. It's like every episode. There's never a point where I was watching it where I was like not thinking about what a Hufflepuff.
Yeah, no, there's not. And like I said, it's
so
disappointing.
much.
You look at her and you look at her and you're like, that's a stereotypical Hufflepuff, right? Like, without hearing her speak or knowing anything about her, she wears like the cutesy dresses and she's got the glasses and the hair and the voice, and you're like,
she's gotta be quirky and cute.
This is what they mean when they say Hufflepuff, and then disappointingly, she is.
But was our Steed Bonnet problem too.
Yeah.
But if the shoe fits, bitch, you gotta put it on your foot. You know, you're gonna be shoeless out there. I just kind of can't believe how Hufflepuff she is. It's almost like a poster child for the house. I think she's like straight in the middle on the line.
Do you?
I think so, because I think she's like a poster child for the house.
I don't remember what episode we were talking about. They live amongst us. I don't remember who we were talking about. It wasn't.
They live amongst us.
It wasn't. Oh, it was Peter, Andrew's Peter. When we were like, if this was the Slytherin, like, this is the Slytherin that lives amongst you, and Gwen is the Ravenclaw that lives amongst, like, you know, I'm not sure that she's that type of Hufflepuff.
I don't think so. But she's like really.
I don't know, but I'm struggling to marry the fact that the I live amongst us people aren't the people smack dab in the middle. That's interesting.
Yeah, we're back from an edit because Lauren just gave away Nick Miller's house. Like
that will happen several more times before we talk about it.
I'm actually so happy this episode's coming out so that we can publicly just talk about it.
Yes, because he will be used as a callback for a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. I'm trying to think of any more points about Jess. It's just rough because it's every episode. It's everything she does.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's every episode. Every single decision that she makes is for a Hufflepuff reason.
It's kind of insane. It is kind of insane.
Even when she's like, when the first Thanksgiving they have together when she's dating Nick, and Nick's like, I want to catch everything with our bare hands, and they go to the store, and she, they buy all that food, and they're like, we can only buy food that you could find in the woods, and they're trying to trick Nick. Like, even the way she's deceiving him is like in a very Hufflepuff way. She's like, no, I want to make him feel good. And then she feels bad when he sees like the price sticker on the fruit. So she eats his dead fish and gets
she's like river disease.
Gives herself river disease.
And it's like for a kind reason. It's insane. Yeah, she's it's so funny seeing characters like this because they have this, she's got this weird dark side. Like, she's threatened her dad's girlfriends with bats and shit. She's like, she's like, get in your car and drive home. And Cece's in the back like,
dump that lady out of the wheelchair, which to be fair, she didn't need the wheelchair. She was good. Yeah. But
oh my God. And Jess is often like vindicated in her beliefs about people and like what she thinks is the right thing to do or the right way to be. Like, oftentimes the episode comes around and Jess is the one who was right all along.
Yeah.
Which is oftentimes the case with Hufflepuffs.
Yeah, she's like Annie Light.
Light.
Yeah. Very light.
Annie Zero.
Light on the light on
I like that.
Light
Annie
on
Light.
the sugar and the caffeine. Yeah. I mean, she gets into these like schemes, like the Parent Trap scheme with her parent or whatever, where she like gets into roles like Annie does, where she's like, I gotta be this way,
Or
like,
the bartender girl.
Yeah, or at the end when she's
Shots
like
girl.
She's both Reagan and Nick's girlfriend. Like, she's mediating their relationship.
Yeah.
And she doesn't realize it because she slips so easily into
really
what people
does.
need. Yeah.
Has an outfit
or what
for
she
everything.
thinks they need.
Yeah. And I mean, she does it in that way as a role as a friend and like physically, literally putting on costumes and shit. Like, she's prepared for anything to be anything for whoever at that moment.
Right.
This crazy Hufflepuff. Guys, are you guys okay out there, Hufflepuffs? It's wild. We got another one on today's episode that I'm excited to talk about.
Completely different.
Completely different. It's what episode did we just do where we had two Hufflepuffs and they were completely different Hufflepuffs? Was it? Oh, Mythic Quest.
Yes. Yeah, Joe and
it feels
David.
It feels a little like that again. It feels a little like that again.
Yeah.
Because one is so psychotic.
Maybe not as extreme. Yeah.
We'll get there. So bouncing off of Jess, who shall we go into?
You know who it has to be.
I know who. I want to just get it out of the way. So Lauren's like chomping at the bit to discuss Nick Miller.
Nick
Miller from the streets of Chicago.
Nick Miller from the streets of Chicago.
What's his pseudonym?
It's not a pseudonym. No, it's his character.
I know, but when he was in the classroom, Julius Pepperwood.
Well, that's why he wrote the book. Yeah, because he based it on
Julius Pepperwood
with Jessica Knight.
Jessica Knight,
masterful.
One of my fucking favorite underrated Nick scene. Like, I don't hear anyone talk about this. Is when he straight up gives Winston his book, and Winston just rips it apart. And Nick is just smiling the whole time. He's like, it's so weird, right?
Him.
It's terrible.
He wanted him because he wasn't getting feedback from Schmidt. Schmidt was...
It was so good because of his house, which we'll say in a second. I expected him to like fucking explode, but he loved hearing about how ridiculous he was.
Yeah, no, that was the episode where he called Schmidt for feedback and Schmidt wouldn't give him feedback, and he literally couldn't write more of the book because he was like, if I didn't do something wrong, then there's something wrong with me.
Put a fucking crossword, a word search. And he's like, you're not going to find any words in there. There's no words in there. So Nicholas Miller is a fucking weirdo. And no, he's not a Ravenclaw weirdo, because I know we always tend to put the weirdos in one house. He's a Gryffindor weirdo.
I'm deeply in love with him.
Finally, that's out. He is so
Rachel gets really
Much.
mad because the entire time she's watching this, she's like, this is me, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate it
It's
so much.
really
My reaction's the same, and I
bad.
hate it. Yeah, I'm in love with Rachel. So
Yeah. Well, as you should be. But it's really, really rough watching it because he's so stupid sometimes. And I'm like, but that was my exact feeling. I've never related to Nick Miller more than when his dad just pops in. And that's one. But his dad pops in, and his dad's like a scam artist because every Gryffindor family is filled with fuckheads. And he just starts pounding the shit out of the sink. Because, like, when my parents come over, that's exactly how I just start fucking hammering at shit. And my husband's like, you really got to rate it. And I'm like, I'm fine. I have to beat the shit out of the toilet, but I'm fine.
I can't. Rachel is like also getting upset. I'm sure you've heard Rachel's weird hangups about like pilgrims and whatever else she's got a problem
I have
with.
a list.
She's made the list, but Nick has those too. He's got like, it's like, I won't pay for a plumber. And then he's like, and he doesn't like the way, I can't remember the exact examples now, but he says stuff like this where he was like, I'll just bring up something random. He's like, I don't like chihuahuas. Like, they're small and they smell funny and they look at me weird. And like,
yeah.
and like, that's his whole thing.
Yeah, he has extremely random hatreds, which is very, like, Rachel coded, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
He literally runs from his problems. When he was having that issue with Reagan, he went running, and Winston's like, Nick, are you okay?
God.
Nick, come back.
Oh my God. Or even like when he just goes for a run and they're like, oh, that means Nick's in crisis.
Yes.
Like he's literally running. That's his whole thing.
Also the fact that he ends, this isn't the same episode, but it's one of the times he ran. He ends up at a park and makes friends with a mute Asian man. And just
that guy
has a whole one-sided conversation with him where he makes up the answers. And he ends up at a spa. And he gets in a pool with this strange old man. And lets him rock him like a baby.
And it helps. It helps him. And the guy's like, you are a giant baby. And it's like, okay. And it's just that it's true. He needs to be rocked like a baby. Like, it doesn't work for Jess when he tries to rock her later. Just works for his crazy Gryffindor ass. That guy is my favorite recurring character of all. Like, literally, he pops in and out.
Yeah.
And it's just Nick talking to himself. And he can, like, smile. Hear his voice. But, okay. So something
Nick's a storyteller. Like, obviously, he's an author by the end of the show, but he makes up these stories in his head, and it's like, it's the Gryffindor thing when you, like, build your whole personality around this one, like, small slight. So, like, his is, like, his dad and, like, having to be the responsible one of his family, which is full of shitheads. The way that we meet Nick's family once when his dad dies. They go back to Chicago, and everybody meets family, and the way that they reveal that they're like, actually Nick is the normal responsible one of all these people.
Yeah. So that was the episode that finally convinced George that Nick Miller is my twin somehow. He's like, oh, really? That's your family.
It? Okay.
That's the one. It was like a gong fucking hit him in the back of the dome.
He's still wrong on Schmidt and Winston because he...
No, he's come around.
Okay.
He's come around to understanding, but he's not happy about it. He wanted them for,
Yeah, I know.
a certain other that they're not. But anyway. That was so, like, that hit so close to home. That episode where Nick has nothing together. He has none of his shit together. And he goes home and he's like the manager of this weird little fucking family. But then, of course, he goes and gets wasted too and, like, brings a drunk Elvis and... Yeah. But it's good that he has a Hufflepuff to ground him.
Oh, my God. And it's Nick's crazy. He's a crazy example of failing upwards. Like, this man literally has nobody. He's not doing anything. And he doesn't care. He's fine with that. He wants to be like that.
Really happy with being where he is.
He keeps, like, he ends up being co-owner of a bar and becoming, like, a best-selling author. And it's
a man who didn't have a wallet.
Right. He carried around a baggie of change.
Which, like, I don't go anywhere with a wallet. Literally ever. So don't ask me for my ID. I'm, like, constantly scared of getting pulled over, but I can't be asked to bring my fucking wallet in the car. I don't want to carry it. I don't like carrying a purse. I don't like carrying a bag.
The interesting thing about Nick too is that he like enjoys struggling. Like when he was dating Tran's granddaughter, you'd think they'd be perfect, right? Because she's rich and she doesn't have to do anything because she's rich. So she does nothing, just like Nick does nothing all day. But he gets tired of it because he's like, I don't like the fact that, you know,
this is easy.
Right. Yeah. He's like, there's like, like he doesn't do anything when he has to earn money. But he was like, I don't like the fact that now I don't have to do anything. Like he literally makes a joke when she first tells him where he's like, oh, I'm a kept boy. But he's like over that really quickly. He's like, I don't like that struggling.
Nick is most at home in a struggle.
He needs to be a martyr. He has to be a martyr. He has to have something to complain about and be like, Jess, my life sucks and it's okay. You know? Like,
yeah. And he's like, there are a couple moments in the show, I can't remember them all, but where like it gets weirdly serious with him. Mm-hmm. Where someone will say something to him like, you'll be okay. And he's like, whatever that means. And like it's like deadpan serious. Like he has no faith or hope things will get better.
When he Schmidt's, this is my favorite line from Nick. When he's Schmidt's best man and he picks up Cece's mom from the airport and he gets the wrong lady. And he's again,
oh my God.
I mean, she doesn't speak English, so he's again having like a one-sided conversation where
I can't with this man. I can't.
He's like, to her, is kidnapping her and, you know, like holding her captive. And like, there's this one part where he's miming to her and he's like miming. He's like, we're going to get you to the party. And for some reason, he like throat slashes and then makes the gun. Like shit. And she's freaking out.
Oh, poor woman.
And she's like smacking him. He's like, ow, why are you being so mean? But they get to the party and they're like, this is not Cece's mom. And like the lady gets the vibe of what's going on. So she's like yelling at him.
Yeah.
And he's like, stop being mean to me or I'm going to fall in love with you. And it's like hilarious, but also true and very serious of him. So it's like, it's a very self-aware moment that he's having.
I find him actually to be incredibly self-aware.
He's insanely. He uses it for humor. That is his humor.
Yeah. He's the fucking bill box that he has of just bills he doesn't want to look at. Oh, like, that's another thing. Let me fucking tell you.
And then they don't exist.
That was so dark-sided Hufflepuff of her to take
to
that money
paying them?
And pay his bills. Do you know how fucking angry I was when I saw that she did that? I was like, you don't touch his bill box and you don't touch his money. I was like, yo, I would have dumped her right there. That would have been it.
That is basically what broke them up.
It led there, yeah. It definitely did. But again, all the relationship problems are just
well, yeah. And Nick's problem with her was like, you want to change me, you want me to be a grown up, and I'm not a grown up. And it's like,
and I'm happy the way that I am.
No, but is he? He's happy being a martyr, so it's like it's the weird fucking paradox.
He just has no faith in. He has like it's funny because he like clearly thinks he's always right and always like the smartest, most correct one. But also thinks he's a fucking idiot. No,
and also he thinks he's a really good writer. And when people tell him that he's an amazing writer, he's like, yeah, you're right. But then he'll start freaking out on himself where he's like, nobody likes these books, blah, blah, blah. But then all the fucking teenage girls at Jess' school love the books. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to come every day and talk to these 14-year-old girls. And Jess is like, you cannot do this. Like, you cannot pull them out of class to talk to them about Pepper.
Yeah. The other, like, I see this in a lot of Gryffindor. I don't know what it is. We really like weird and strange people because it makes us laugh. Yeah. So, and that's like the basis for all of Nick's friendships, but like specifically Schmidt. Because Schmidt shows up.
Oh, you love that scene.
I fucking cry laughing. He's like throwing food into Schmidt's mouth. And he's like, you're going to catch it? You're so weird. You're so weird. Do it again. Oh my God, you're so weird. And he's so delighted. He's so happy to have this complete fucking weirdo. They're like, you never see Nick smile bigger than when he's with someone who's so bizarre and strange. I really enjoy the oddities of the world.
He's been friends with Winston since he was a kid. They grew up in Chicago together, and it's like kind of the same thing. Like you saw that they lost their virginity to porn stars or to hookers together. And Winston calls Nick's dad his papa. And Nick's and Nick like tolerates it. Like he says no every time. Like he's like whatever.
What did the hat say?
I don't remember.
Chicago something. I don't remember. Chicago, they have a very strange friendship. I love it though. It's like and I like that Winston and Schmidt can't be left alone together because they need Nick in the middle or it gets like really bad. Like they need Nick there. Also, another hugely Gryffindor thing, he is extremely motivated and successful when he's entertained and when he enjoys the thing he is doing. Like pranks, like causing physical harm to Schmidt through pranks. He's so delighted. He spends a ton of money on it. He spends a ton of time. He does extremely complicated math. He like changes his shoes, changes his pants, like alters chairs in the house. Like he's doing crazy shit. And everyone is like, Nick, how are you? Like, this is what you dedicate your time to? And he's like, yeah, and it's great. He just needs to be, he needs to be enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's really, really successful at it.
I asked you this before you got to the last season, and you were on allergy meds, so I don't know if you clocked it. But his relationship with
Ruth,
yeah,
it's amazing.
Where he's like, "You're my goddaughter," and they're like, "You're absolutely not her godfather."
She's like, "Oh, Uncle Nick." Like every time she sees him, stupid diarrhea head. He's like, "Can you please not call me that right now? I'm in a pretty dark place right now. Can you please just not call me diarrhea head?" And she's like, "Okay, diarrhea head." I love.
And that whole conversation I told you about when when he's talking to her, and she's like, "Why is Daddy helping you?" He's like, "I used to be your daddy's little girl."
Yeah. I think I was actually talking to someone about New Girl several years ago. And they were saying, huh?
Call back.
Yeah, and it was just interesting having watched it the first time I watched it and watching it now, where I kind of agreed with that person back then that I was like, Nick kind of like doesn't, like he's mean to Schmidt. Like I really thought Nick was mean the first time around.
Interesting.
But Schmidt's fucking a lot, but beyond that also,
Schmidt is also mean to Nick.
He's also mean.
That's just their relationship.
Yeah, but like with the give me cookie, got you cookie thing.
Give me
like,
cookie, got you cookie. Give me cookie, got you cookie.
Like,
I mean, I think there's an argument that Nick is less sensitive than Schmidt, so it may seem like he's a little meaner, but
because Schmidt's very sensitive.
Yeah, like when they come back for season 7 and Schmidt's got the mustache and Winston's like, you can't tell him you hate it. You can't tell him because Nick means the world to Schmidt. Like he's the one opinion. So
fucking Schmidt is like, I've never seen you look at anyone the way you look at Jess except me a few times. Yeah. Winston twice, never Coach.
Yeah, Schmidt is clocking this shit. Or when he was pretending to be gay for Jess and Schmidt came in because he was upset about Cece and that whole thing played out. But that guy thought he was gay.
Nick couldn't even like muster, like he couldn't even be bothered to do more than they call me gay Nick. Like he couldn't do more than that.
I think at one time he goes like, he's like, I love penis and sweaty men. Because the guy's like, what type of guys do you like? And he's like, oh, sweaty ones.
Oh my God, I'm gonna die. I lost my thought. I'm very upset at myself.
The thing is about that too is that he offered to Jess to do that, and Jess said no. And then because she was so convinced that nobody would be bothered by the fact that she was living with her ex-boyfriend. And then when this guy was bothered by it, she was like, never mind, it's fine because he's gay. And so she like came in and she was like, Nick, you're gay. And he's like, all right.
You're gay, be gay.
He literally was like, okay, I wasn't doing anything else tonight, whatever.
They call me gay Nick. Like it's just literally very much that. Also, like if you've been listening to us and you clock some of the Gryffindor traits, Nick straight up says throughout the whole series, too much responsibility, don't want that. Mm-hmm. Like for whatever reason, for anything. Like it's very much that he really doesn't.
That's how he evaluates things.
Deal with it.
He's like, I know I will get involved, and I just don't have it in me. So,
I don't want to. Mm-hmm. I simply do not want to. Like, and he's very honest about these things all the time to people. It's not like
he is. He the way he breaks up with Reagan, getting on the train to San Francisco with her.
That was really bad. But she like didn't. It's like a bad match.
Well, and I have thoughts about Reagan's house too. But and then just walking off the train and leaving her on it. And he gets back, and Allie is the one he went to because he was like, I just feel like we don't hang out. Like you should give me advice because we need to bond. Like this is how you can do help my life. So he went to Allie. So when he gets back, Allie's like, I thought you were going to San Francisco. And he's like, oh, I did. I got off the train. And she's like, weren't you going to break up with her? And he was like, well, yeah, now I won't have to because she'll be mad about this and she'll break up with me. He's like, but that's a problem for when she comes back. It's not a problem now.
But this is Nick's issue. He did this with Caroline, too, and it made her insane. And she's like, you didn't fucking explain anything to me. He just fucks off. He's like, I don't want to deal with you. I can't deal with this. And he really can't. Like, leave him alone. Like, I can see the stress building in him at all times. Just leave the guy alone.
The other thing that's
leave
so
me
funny
alone.
is that when he does get broken up with, he's a fucking
Yeah.
he's
And then he doesn't even listen to
wreck.
himself.
Yeah, he leaves a video for himself. She's like, you're wrong, past Nick.
Oh my God.
Don't learn from your mistakes.
No, Nick doesn't learn from anything.
It's failing
and
upwards.
He straight up says, like, I refuse to learn from this and grow from this. Like, at some point, I don't even remember, but he's like, I will repeat this.
Yeah.
Was it good? Was it a good idea? No. Will I do it again?
That's the other thing too. When he decides that he does like want to have his shit together, it's almost immediate. When he's like, I do want to be together with Jess. Actually, he is like, you know, they date for 3 years and he gets engaged, and
he has all the potential in the world. All the potential in the world, and that's what pisses Jess off so much all the time about him, because he would not even have to try very hard to be. He doesn't have to try.
No, he
very
doesn't.
hard.
He fucking when he doesn't have any more Pepperwood in him, and he's trying to figure out another book. It's the fucking Chicago Hobo, and he like figures it out just by like telling her stories about his childhood.
Yeah. I love that he was always a grumpy old man, like from a child.
I do too.
That's the best.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like telling kids, "Get your frisbee off my lawn," and then he keeps it. You're not getting this bag. Or like he yells at them for the lemonade stand and like the cost of the lemonade. Oh, he's so funny. But you know, like a lot of Gryffindors, you see Nick is the way he is because he comes from a insane household. Like he had a weird life with his dad. He had a weird college experience. Even he's so funny in college though. He's fucking ridiculous. When he's helping Schmidt have sex,
When he
with the lube.
I was gonna say too. They talk about how he literally drove across the country because he didn't want to focus on his college exams.
Yeah,
and that whole thing where he was like trying to get Winston to admit that he was about to jerk off.
Yeah,
they were like, he was like, "You're doing this to avoid your responsibilities," and Nick's like, "No, it's really important to me."
And it was. And he also passed the LSAT. Like he's.
Yeah, he did. He passed the bar. He passed the bars more than the LSAT. Yeah. He can
all
practice
the potential
law
in the world.
in the state of California.
He straight up just wasn't
And
happy.
he did. He
didn't like the
defended
people.
Schmidt, and they didn't pay that settlement because he fucking...
Yeah. It was a little bit of like Charlie Kelly bird law.
It was a bit.
You know, there's so much Charlie Kelly in the performance.
They're the same genre of man.
They are.
Rob Benedict is in that genre of
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like tiny
little squirrely
and loud.
dudes. Yeah. They get shrill when they're mad.
And they get mad so often. I think they breach the Ravenclaw Gryffindor similarity line that we sometimes encounter. There's a lot of like crossover, especially with their anger and family. So I enjoy that comparison, even though they're not in the same house. They have a lot of similar qualities. But Nick just he's just an old man. Like he says, like, I'm finally aging into my personality. Like he just doesn't want to be bothered with frivolous bullshit. But like to other people, the things he wants to do is frivolous bullshit. Like Schmidt constantly is like, this is ridiculous. Like this is what you're spending your time on. This is what you're doing, whatever. Like he enjoys it though. You know, like he has to work at his own pace. He has to come to things and like enjoy things in his own way. Mm-hmm. It can't be the way you explain it to him.
He cannot lead a horse to water with Nick. He will piss in it out of spite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's a procrastinator. He resents like he doesn't like to have to do hard work.
No.
But without hard work,
I mean,
he's angry. Like he wants it
to have to work to live. Like, you know.
Yeah. But even like the things like it's a due date. Like, yeah, you do it today. Like, no, it's a due date. It's due by so do it today. Like, he's pretty textbook, man. It's a lot. He's very Gryffindor. He's more to the right side.
Yes.
When we update our lists officially, our lines,
and it's
you'll
your
see
pretty graphics.
Yeah, I have to do that.
And then we'll make George build us a website.
Oh my God! Use the Ravenclaw brain.
Yeah.
So that's Nick Miller. I don't. Come on, guys.
There's no argument for those first two.
It's like Jess. Everything he does is dripping with his house.
Man on the street, Gryffindor. He lives amongst us. He
does.
lives amongst us.
He might even be in your
He
mirror.
is the epitome of like, I can fix him, boy. Like you're like,
Yeah, but you can't tell him that.
no. He's like the diamond in the
So-
rough loser
So
boyfriend.
I feel like
the one that actually works out.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of like I would say all Gryffindors have a trigger point to them, like where the one thing you say like it really grinds our gears a certain way. Like
Yeah.
for me, it's if you imply I'm fucking stupid in any way,
Uh-huh.
like I immediately am triggered and I want to eat you alive. For Nick, it's anyone trying to fix him or change him.
Yeah.
Like it really pisses him off.
I'll evolve on my own.
Yeah.
It's like if I feel like it.
Yeah. So, you know, he's pretty, yeah. I will hear no argument against Gryffindor, Nick Miller. Like, I don't care about the Charlie Kelly comparison. There's no ounce of Ravenclaw in this man.
Nope.
Sorry about it. So.
He doesn't plan shit.
No.
Shit just happens and he grabs it.
Yeah. Literally. With people.
And sometimes he misses it and it has to come around again for him.
Yeah. But it will.
Yeah.
Like, it will. Good
and he
things
won't go
come to
after it
Nick.
either. He stands still.
Nope.
And everything has to revolve around him. And
Yep.
when it's in front of him, he might grab it.
That whole Thanksgiving episode was so fucking ridiculous.
Was.
Like, you're really going to make people eat off the land? Like, this is just what you want to do. Why are you forcing everyone to do it? Nah, it's a good thing. Yeah, you earn the food. Like, shut up. Shut up, Nick. He has such an obsession with, like, he loved that one boyfriend Jess had that was, like, the older rich dude.
Yes.
He has such
He
an
likes
obsession
being
with
a
being a
man.
distinguished gentleman.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I can't. But all Gryffindors have, like, things like that, you know? Because we have the things that we really hate with a weird passion, like a deep, passionate hatred. And they're weird things, like whales or iguanas. Like weird things. Although I think he said he moved to LA for whales. He wanted to whale watch, I think.
Okay.
He's weird. But then there's an intense love of other things, too. And he has an intense love of, like, oh, working hard. I'm going to grow my own tomatoes, even though I just said kill all plants. Don't put any plants here. I'm the cactus.
No, he does that with the fucking repairing things too.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not going to call it, like, I can do my own electricity. Like,
Yeah. He's happy in his struggle.
yeah.
Like, really happy in
he
it.
loves being a martyr. He really does.
Yeah, he has to be complaining.
Uh-huh.
Like, he's not
What
at
is
home.
the point of life?
Yeah, it's true, though. I love complaining. Don't you love complaining?
No. If
You don't
there's
love bitching about things?
I mean, when there's reason, but I wouldn't create reason to bitch.
I don't know that he's not deliberately creating reasons to bitch. He's just
He makes things harder on himself.
but that's because of
deliberately.
his brain chemistry. He can't help it. Like, he
But he
Poor
does
guy.
create reasons to bitch that don't necessarily need to be
I know,
there.
but he's not doing it in a way that's like, oh my God, feel pity for me, like feel bad for me.
No,
And
I'm
he's
not saying that he is.
He's just like,
He wants to be a martyr. He wants to have things to complain about. That's how he
he's
relates
just a
to people.
fucking
That's how
grump.
he relates to people. I don't know what to tell you. That's the quintessential Gryffindor fucking Anthony. Recognize what I did for you and talk about it and say it's great because I'm great.
Yeah.
Even though I created the problem and I told her to move back to India.
He needs Schmidt to be that obsessed with him. Like,
Oh, God,
he
yeah.
low-key
you see
loves it.
When Schmidt is getting close to Cece, he's like,
Yeah.
all right, calm down.
Or even with her daughter.
Yeah.
Like, and Schmidt's daughter, like, it's the same thing. He likes to be the center of Schmidt's
world.
weird little world. But then, like, when too much
that's
attention is
part
on him,
of,
like,
that's part of how Schmidt is because of who he is. You
Yeah.
feel special when that type of person in that house
well, let's
chooses
talk
you.
let's talk about Schmidt.
Yeah, Schmidt is a Slytherin.
Okay, so
We're
here we
getting
go.
right down to that.
Schmidt is yet another
Extremely
Long Island Jewish Slytherin like Ross Geller. And they do the same fucking things. And it's the same reasons I fucking love Ross because of the delivery of the goddamn actor. It's the same thing. Ridiculous human. When I don't even know where to begin. Lauren, I don't even know where to begin with him. I'm just immediately thinking of, like, when he really thought he could date Cece and the other girl and get away with it. And, like, and then after he's caught and called out on it, he has to go through this whole fucking spiritual journey of like, what does it even mean to be a good person? Am I a good person? Do I even want to be a good person? What does that mean? Like, why do you think this way? Well, because you're a Slytherin. It's sick. It's an illness. I believe that. Because I see some of that in Lauren. He suffers from the same sickness. Where it's like, what does it mean to be a good human?
Yeah.
And like, I'm going to go on this introspective, but also like external journey where I'm going to be talking about this to other people, and I'm going to be like consulting others on this, and I'm be collecting my data on myself and whether I hit all the points of being a good person. And then like, do I actually want to be, if this is what constitutes being a good person? But I am a good person. Like, I don't know how you can go through life that way. I don't know.
I don't know. It's pretty easy. Just think about it and you try to
Lauren's
do it.
like, it's just how I live. Like, I don't know.
I mean, the feelings of the thinking don't touch me. Do they touch you? Everything you think?
What does that mean?
You apply, if you're going deep into like what it means to be a good person, I'm not applying feeling to it. I'm just thinking about it like logically. Are you being affected by feeling about that?
It's completely emotional. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, because you can be a good person, like a good person on paper, and be a complete shithead when I actually talk to you, and like from the feeling I get from you. So it's, and I'm a great judge of character, so I can tell. Lauren's a great person. Schmidt is okay. He's pretty fucking gray.
Like, he did grows. Not remember a lot of the stuff Schmidt said. Him.
Schmidt is like, he starts off. He says a bunch of problematic shit, like about poor people, about fucking like whatever. He's a drama queen. He's a dick, and he does grow, but it's still constantly peppered in, like the sense of superiority he has over other people and over things. Like, the second he decide, okay, so this is also a Slytherin thing. Like, the second you decide you want something, you immediately have to master it and become like very good at it. This was Schmidt's whole thing with losing weight, with getting a girlfriend, with having sex, with his job, like specifically his job. That was a huge thing for Nick, because he like met that guy that was dying in the hospital.
Oh yeah.
From the Christmas tree selling thing. I don't even remember the plot point that well, but it changed the trajectory of his life, and he held on to it and then had to master it. And so he straight up is like anything I have to do for more money and success, I'm going to do it, because all that matters is being successful and having this money. So that's why he can't understand Nick. Like, he can't understand Nick's way of doing things.
Mm-mm. No, it's very really important to Schmidt that he like be high up in his company and get the promotion, and like that's why he sticks around for so, like, those women abuse him as the only man in that company. And he is like determined. He's like, I'm not a quitter. I'm going to get promoted here. He like tells the whole story. I don't remember who he's talking to, but he says like, I decided I was going to be a marketer. I decided I was going to lose weight. Like, and that's
what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I just
that episode.
Yeah.
And he just fucking does it. Like, and that's a very Slytherin thing. It's like a common thread throughout Slytherin characters. First one popped in my head is Bella wanting to be a vampire.
Yeah. No, he does the same. He does the same thing with Cece. Like, he's like, I'm gonna marry her, and it's like, there's no way that this should work. Like, he like Rachel said, he gets better, but he has a douchebag jar at the beginning of the show and like throughout the show, but it was most prevalent at the beginning, where he says shitty douchey things and he has to put money on the jar, and like that's the type of person that he is, and that's how he interacts with women, and he gets Cece to date him and fall in love with him. Like, what?
Yeah. Well, they talk about it too. They're like, this shouldn't work because we're so similar. Like, it shouldn't work. But there's something about Schmidt that, like, he's so annoying sometimes, but he's
and he's neurotic as hell.
He's neurotic, but like, you love him. Like, you would, if he was in your circle, like if this was a person that you were meeting and they attached to you the way he's attached to these people, like the way he's cultivated his circle of people, like you would want to be part of that. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a specific kind of charisma that he has, or if it's like, it's so weird for a character to be so self-aware and to also lack self-awareness.
Slytherins tend to do this a lot, and it's a form of manipulation where, well, I'm getting there. It's a form of manipulation where they're either they either conduct themselves in an extremely like good manner so that when they do fuck up, it doesn't seem as bad. Or like it's either way. They're either on the high end of the scale where they're so good a bunch of the time so that when they do fuck up, it doesn't seem as bad because they're so good all the time. Or they're on the low end of the scale where they're not great a bunch of the time. So when they do good, it seems like astronomically greater than it actually is to be acting like a normal person.
Right.
And Schmidt does that sometimes. Like he
he does.
Yeah, he does. He I can't remember what the exact problem. Oh, he like they were gonna quit his job or something, or like Cece wanted to go back to school. One of those things where he was like, it's okay, we'll cut coupons and we'll be fine. It's like that was one of his moments where they were like, what the fuck are you saying? He's like, we'll cut
just
coupons.
live in peasantry. It'll be fine.
Live in peasantry and we'll cut coupons. Like it's like it should not be this huge sacrifice that he's making it out to be that they will.
I know. But he's another one who loves to complain. He fucking loves it. He's always complaining about something. Anyway, yeah, a lot of it is, it's the same. It's like the same shit with Nick, like being from Chicago and being from a city and a family like that contributes to Nick Miller. Being from Long Island and being from like a very dramatic upbringing where you think you're getting emails from Batman and like you're so special that the Michael Keaton Batman is emailing you and is like, oh my God, and that was such a Gryffindor thing of Nick, by the way.
I was
to pick up
for
that
his
fucking
mom
mantle.
to be like, you have to email my son as Michael Keaton.
Yeah, and Nick
he
was
just
like,
rolled with it. He was like, okay.
Nick carefully cultivated it and like really, again, for someone
and
who
it's
doesn't
very
like,
Hufflepuff and Jess in the way that she fucked it up.
Oh,
she was like,
my God.
I said, hey, is hey okay? And Nick's like, oh my God.
No, like I pick every handcraft, every word. Like, oh my God. He can't be asked to buy a fucking wallet, but he can do that with such precision that it actually convinces Schmidt that he's so special. He's a special boy still.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got this friendship with the celebrity. But it's so funny when Schmidt finds out, like, he, like, drags it out. He's in his fucking dinosaur costume on Halloween. And he's like, oh, my God, you really got Michael Keaton to come here. I should get a closer look. And Nick's like, no, man. You don't want to get any closer. He's got to run off into the night. No, it's my friend. Michael, like, he's really wants to guilt them. He really wants to shame them. Which is a Slytherin thing. Like, you want.
Yeah, he heard them at the door.
That. Yeah.
He does the, it was extremely Slytherin when he fucking moves out of the apartment and moves across the hall. Like, it's the pettiest shit ever. That he was like.
He's so petty. but again, also very Slytherin. Like, you do things to spite people and then spite yourself.
Yeah,
like,
no, because then he's like, nobody's
constantly.
coming over and he's so lonely and he has to invite Winston and Coach over by letting them have sex in his apartment.
Yeah,
so, like,
and he's so happy to do it.
Yeah.
He's so happy to do it.
He has the whore's divorce.
He's a special one. He definitely has like, I wouldn't say he has like the chosen one complex, but I would say there's an element of that to him where like he definitely thinks he's the most
like
special.
On a super high level, but he in his own world thinks that he is important. Like his bubble. He is most important in his bubble. Like he is his main character, and these are supporting cast members that he has let into his life. Yeah,
exactly how he lives his life. Yeah,
and everything he doesn't do who's that girl. He's like, who's that boy?
Yeah, everything from his like hair products to his suits to his linens to like the stuff he uses to clean. Like everything is so about him that he really is looking at his friendships as like, you are supporting characters in the story of my life, but he loves so hard, like the way he loves Nick and the way he loves Cece.
Oh God, yeah.
He loves them so hard. Like,
he does.
I think they're the only two in his circle until Ruth.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's those three.
But I will say, too, that he's a good friend, especially when people are connected to him in multiple ways. Like, Jess is Nick's girlfriend and Cece's best friend, so he may not be, like, super crazy about Jess. A lot of, like, they clash a lot. But he sticks up for her.
Yeah.
Especially when poked a little bit. You know, like, he'll go to bat for her. But, yeah.
Yeah.
It, you know what else was extremely Slytherin was when he was cheating on Cece and that other girl. Like, I was pissed about it because it's not how I would have handled it, but I can see how he got there, especially when they put him on the spot. They were both standing in front of him and they were like, pick somebody right now, when Cece had just ended her wedding because she still loved him, and he had just
that was an obvious choice.
But then she had just gone back to the girl who was his high school or college sweetheart who had loved him for who he was before he was like successful and whatever. And he.
I understand being conflicted at that point, but I don't. I don't get how he dragged it.
We don't like being put on the spot like that either. Like that's when like the heels dig in, where we're like, you're gonna make me choose, really, and you're gonna do this in front of people, and you're not gonna give me a chance to like retreat and be by myself, you know, like, and like the second he didn't have an answer right away, both of them were like, how is this something you have to think about? And he's like, this is like a thing. This is like a big thing.
Because he does think everything through very methodically. He makes his lists. He like writes everything out. He writes his thoughts out. Like even, like it's stupid, but how even sex, like how he approaches sex, he's very good at it. Like Jess's friend who's a gynecologist, like
what they like. Yeah.
She doesn't even like men and she's like getting hot and bothered by his description of hooking up with a woman. Like because he approaches everything methodically and he's going to master it. And even relationships, he's going to be the best boyfriend. He's going to be the best friend. But like, you're not getting that easily because he's going to bitch to you and he's going to guilt you and he's going to whine to you and he's going to complain to you. And it's like a Slytherin on crack. Like, it's so much. It's so much. You see it in other Slytherins, but not to hit, like, he does it. It's so dramatic. And it is because he has a Jewish mother. It's the same way I have an Italian mother. And they're like same genre of old New York woman. The guilt, like you take that, you carry that with you, and then
she hates Cece because she's not good enough for her little boy.
Yeah, sure, yeah, of course. Yeah. Even she orchestrated the whole Michael Keaton thing, which was horrible.
She did, well, because she didn't want to deal with Schmidt's emotions, so she was like, "Talk to Michael Keaton when you're sad,"
because he's so emotional.
He is.
And you don't always see that in Slytherin characters, the way he exudes it. Like, he tells you his every feeling.
The way that he does it is he's like, express it so we never have to deal with it again.
Yeah.
Get it out and then it's done.
Yeah. And I can actually literally like see him saying that. Like, I have to get this off my chest right now, Nick, and then we'll never speak of it again. Like, I can see that.
Like that same fucking like the Brooklyn Nine-Nine one, when he like is invited to the reunion, he thinks he's super special and he finds out that it's a bunch of people that they're inviting to get money. Like, he literally goes into his room and curls up in a ball and just like starts wailing. Like,
or even like with the neighbor kids that don't like him.
Yes.
Like he's I'm not old, youths. He's got a little bit of grumpy old man in him too.
He does. Well, yeah, but his is much more attached to ego. Like, they thought he wasn't cool. So like that was not allowed. And then what was it he got over really quickly when he realized that they were stupid? He was like, "You're all stupid. These are stupid opinions." And then he was like, and then he was done with it.
Yeah. That's I think he has that in common with Nick, actually. They both this might just be like a stubborn Gryffindor and Slytherin thing. Like, I don't think either of us can be pushed on a topic. Like, we have to see it through our own lens. I mean, it's for different motivations and different reasons, but it's the same thing. Like, you're not convincing Schmidt of anything until he sees it through his own way. Like, when Jess makes him a hippie man, she can't rein him back in. It's not like he just goes back and forth. Like, he decides, okay, I want to do this for a couple minutes. I want to do this right now, and I'm going to be the best hippie that has bongos in the park and eats rat meat from the fucking cart. And I'm going to be the best one there is. And then when he comes back, he's like the best roommate who cleans everything, whatever. Like, his roles, it's not like a Hufflepuff picking and choosing a role and putting on the clothes of it and performing. Like, he truly has to internalize it, assess it, understand it, and then become it. It's very different from Jess.
Yes, he is. I'm remembering too. There was an episode they were looking for something in the kitchen, and they were like, "Schmidt, where's the blender?" And he's like, "It's in 34B." Like, did you not read your manual? Like, he's got the kitchen laid out like that, and they're like, "It's not there. The mixer's there." He's like, "That's not where the mixer goes." Like, it's this whole thing. Like,
what's the thing when Nick uses it for pulp? Yeah. He uses it to get the pulp out of its juice.
Pulp. Nick is truly the most disgusting man alive, and I don't really know how Jess handles it. Like, it's disgusting.
You hate living with me. I'm so gross. George wants to fucking kill me. I'll expose myself. I'm a hider of things. So, like, if I eat chips or candy, because I used to get my ass beat for eating in my room, so I had to like hide things under the bed and in drawers and stuff. So now I naturally just fucking like a Kit Kat. Like, I'll just put the Kit Kat wrapper in the drawer. Like, because I'm worried someone's gonna come in and judge me for eating a Kit Kat. And then George will find it and be like, you fucking hiding wrappers again? And I'm like, I wasn't hiding it per se. I just didn't bring it to the garbage can. Like, sorry.
Put a garbage can in your room, and then you could just throw the wrappers in there.
Then I gotta get out of the bed.
And put the garbage can next to your bed.
Then I'm gonna kick it when I get out of the bed. I got a system. It works for me. So
it sounds like it's not working for everybody.
It works for me.
Don't you have to get up to put it in a drawer?
No, my bedside table. When I lived with my mom, it was like behind my bed, behind the pillow, fucking like what I used to hide. I had to. She used to kick my ass. I wasn't allowed to eat in my room. So yeah, we carry things with us. They manifest in weird ways. So Schmidt can't deal with that, but he's also not going to change Nick, and Nick's not going to change Schmidt. They found a way to coexist and just irritate each other constantly, and it's hilarious. It's all love, though. All love.
I can't believe they were able to live together in college. Because, I guess
Schmidt cleaned. Schmidt wanted a friend so bad. He was so lonely. Like, he wanted to be liked, and he hadn't hit the point in his life, like in his little Slytherin brain, it hadn't clicked yet, that he could master anything he wanted and like become what he wanted. So he was just like happy to have a friend. He was like a very innocent little Slytherin. I just want my buddy. But he, like very Slytherin, when you put someone in your circle, he latched onto Nick right away.
Yeah, like Nick shows him like 2 seconds of kindness.
Yeah.
When was it kindness throwing food at him?
No. You're so
like,
weird, man. And he's like, I know, I'm so weird, man.
That he gave Nick the peppermint foot lotion for every single Christmas and birthday for the past 16 years, and Nick hid them in a box labeled gross stuff. and then Schmidt finds it. And he makes Nick put it on. Nick's like, oh my God, why doesn't anybody do this? Why didn't anybody? Well, like, people should make this for like when your elbows dry out.
But like you can't make Nick do it until he's ready to do it. And the same thing is the same thing with Schmidt.
You guilt him insanely.
Yeah. Oh, he's very easily guilted. It's like that. Their dynamic is perfect.
This is calling me back to another freaking huge Jess moment when they're leaving the loft and she like expects everybody to be super sad and everybody's like we're fucking over this loft. Like,
yeah. Fucking Winston. We have to talk about Winston.
Okay, let's go. Let's talk about Winston.
Oh my God. I love this freaky Winston. Little man.
Winston Bishop, Winnie the Bish. Winnie the Bish is the
What
classic Winston and Cece mess around.
Oh my God. Okay, we have to. Okay, Winston's a Hufflepuff. All right? But it's not the Jess Hufflepuff.
No.
It's the completely
Winston's
unhinged.
crazy.
He's scary.
Like, he's scary.
Let me tell you something, guys. He was gonna fucking kill that cat.
He was gonna murder that cat.
He was
because
gonna
that woman
straight up
cheated
kill
on
it.
him. He was like, he's talking to Jess, and Jess is like, well, you could go and talk to her and like see what's happening, like confront her about it and talk it out. And Winston's like, I'm gonna kill her cat. And it's not like he doesn't, like, it's not one of those stories where he like looks into the cat's eyes and he's like, I can't hurt an innocent creature. He's just like physically, like he like fucks it, like he's unable to do it, like he's trying and he's just unable to kill it.
And people keep getting in the way. Nick's like, stop, don't kill the cat, man. You're not going to do that. And he's like, no, I'm going to kill this cat.
It's kind of like, that's weird and it'll be messy. Like, just don't do it.
Nick doesn't give a fuck about that cat. I was scared for Nick, though, when he lost the cat. Because I thought Winston was going to kill him. Okay.
Yeah, no, and then the way that he said, like he shows up at her house and like has the confrontation with her and is like, but I'm keeping the cat.
Yeah, he just keeps it. Yeah. And you know what? He fucking gets away with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes on his weird dates and he thinks he's going to have a cat date with that woman. And the woman wanted a date with him and he's like...
But then there's the other weird lady when he does lose the cat. And I think that's why he forgives Nick. Because
and she picks his ass up and puts him on the sink. I can't. I love him.
No, the other scare, like, so this keeps happening to Winston. And it may be that he's a Hufflepuff. Like, he may give off a vibe or something where women are taking advantage of him. But it happens again with that other girl that she cheats, or she takes the photo. She takes the photo with the guy and he gets jealous over it. So he goes to Cece for advice, and Cece's like, well, you should take a photo with a girl. He's like, oh, what hot girl did I? So he takes like photos with Cece, and their relationship is really cute, by the way. I love their relationship and the way that it develops. But the girl immediately dumps him. And so he's like, you fucked up my life at Cece. And so she's like, okay, well, what can I do to help? Like, what do you want out of this? Like, what's wrong? He's like, and so he's like, and you're like, oh, he's going to like talk about some past trauma. Like, what can we do to help him? And he's like, for once, I want one of them to hurt more than I do. Oh my God. Like, what? And then he's like, Cece, you need to go to this woman. You need to tell her I died. And he's like, Cece does it because she fucked up giving him advice, and she goes to this girl and she tells him that Winston's dead, and then the guy that she took the photo with is at the house. So that's when Cece's like, oh fuck no, okay, I'm actually going through with this. So she tells the girl that Winston died, and that his last words were, this is all, I don't know what her name, all Tasha's fault. And the girl starts sobbing, and then Winston jumps out from behind the bushes, and there's no remorse. There's no remorse for this girl.
None.
He's like, you just got Cece and Winston.
Justice was served. Justice was served. This is
what it was.
All you need. Oh my God! And when he's doing the cop training, and Cece's like, they're gonna get him a gun. All you need to know about, like, everything about Winston can be wrapped up into how he does pranks.
Oh my God!
Okay?
Yeah,
because
it's either insane.
Or like a little nothing.
Or like he plays Cotton Eye Joe in Nick's car, and Nick's like jamming to it.
Yeah. What if we sprinkle the dirt next to his car tire? And then he'll be like, what's all that dirt about?
What's this dirt doing here?
What's this dirt doing here? Or I know what else. We could throw acid on him.
No, when he's dating that girl that does the pranks with him.
Oh my God.
And he's like, we're married for real. And
oh
she's
my God.
like, how is this a prank? Explain the joke. What is the fucking prank? And he's like, we got married for real.
Yeah.
She's like, what?
Yeah. And he's not, people constantly to Winston are like, Winston, you can't, like, that's crazy. Like, what are you doing? And he's just, there's a wall. He's not hearing you.
Yep.
Like, when he finds out he's colorblind. It's the puzzle.
Schmidt's like, Winston, what color do you think you are?
Kermit the Frog is brown.
No, when he gets the fucking glasses, and he's like, pink's too much. It's too much. It's trying to be red, but it's not.
So George was so funny because he was like, he is watching the beginning of the episode where Winston's like, I gotta do my puzzle, and I like need to do this or whatever.
He's so helpful.
And he starts off like,
no, Rachel,
very focused and serious.
He's like, Schmidt, what do you think it's gonna look like? The pictures of the box. Pictures of the box.
The picture of the box, Winston.
No,
and
you're right. He
got
starts very focused, and then he just starts taking two pieces and jamming them together.
He's got nuts. He like cashews as pieces in the puzzle, and he's delighted. The camera goes to his face. It's a huge smile. He's so happy with his. He's too much. Like, he's too much.
Or like when those two girls move in across the hall, and Coach and Schmidt are like, you've been friend zoned. You're never gonna have sex now because you. And Winston's like, playing the long game. Like, he's just doing all their chores.
Yeah. But even like, just silly things about his personality, like with the like, he likes fruity drinks, but he's not allowed to have them because he gets really weird when he does. And Nick's like, I'm not making them for you anymore. And he takes one step and he's like, I'm so naughty, Nick. I'm so naughty. Am I really doing this right now, Nick? I'm so naughty. Winston loves Winston. Okay?
No,
he loves himself.
He loves his cat. That cat fucking hates him. Does not know. They say that. They're like, the cat doesn't know he exists. They're like, nope. No, at the episode where they all forget his birthday, and he doesn't say a word to any of them. Yep. He says not, and he's not even petty about it. Like, he doesn't do anything to them. He's just going out. He's eating cake, and like, and then they do that thing where they set up a date for somebody, and Winston comes upstairs and is immediately delighted. He's like, oh my God, it's for my birthday. Like, totally forgiven the entire thing.
Yeah, because everything Winston does is 0 or 100. Not 0 to 100. 0 or 100. Like, even the cop test where, like, he fails, which, okay, he fails. But Coach is like, maybe there was a back. And Winston's like, there was a back. I didn't fill out the back.
It's a computer test. And they're like, and he's like, and he doesn't explain to this man. He just goes, I didn't fill out the back. And the guy's like, what? And he's like, I took the test and I didn't do the back. And the guy's like, you took it on a computer.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just Winston. Like, he is mellow and calm until he's very much not. And then he goes back to mellow and calm and happy, and then he's very much not. Like, and he wanted a happy roast for his birthday. Good things about
No. It's not called a happy roast, but it had such a great
Nick came up with it.
It's a honey roast. Winston said it. It's a honey roast.
Because everyone tried, like, everyone was so worried about ruining Winston's birthday. Like, you don't want to fuck with Winston's day. Like, they didn't want to make it about them.
Jess and Nick just broke up.
Yeah.
So they were, he just gotten accepted as a cop.
Yeah,
so they were like, we don't want to fuck it up. And he went, I want you to dress up as Ferguson.
Oh my God. So how many Hufflepuffs out there struggle with decision making? Because Winston has a severe case of that. Like, he quickly realizes, I've never really wanted anything.
No, I was gonna say but that feeds into the whole, like, the reason that he became a basketball player is because toy basketball was put in his, like, crib as a baby or whatever. So he's like, he's like, so I never chose, like, I was given my role. And then he has, like, a whole identity crisis about it where he's like, I want to choose my role. And he decides to become a cop.
And then immediately wants to be accepted into that community.
Yes.
Like,
oh yeah, when they go to the fucking barbecue.
They go high.
And Cece are high. Coach.
That is one of the funniest fucking Nick episodes. He was like, you're so stupid right now, Coach. You're so stupid. You're so stupid and high right now. And everyone can tell how stupid and high you are.
So I'm not high at all. Nobody knows I'm high. And then he throws the girl over and runs away. Dude. It's like, quick, I think they know.
And all the cops are like, yeah, we're just fucking with you because we know that you're high and it's hilarious. And Winston's like, thanks, guys. Like, and he genuinely means it. He's like, I'm toilet guy now. Thank you so much.
Give him the worst nickname. No, he genuinely means it. He just wanted a nickname.
He just wants to be loved. Like, really. He really wants to be, or like, we could say accepted, like in a Hufflepuff way.
He does, because the way that it happened with Cece is, like, Cece was not into him. He, like, forced himself in there. He was like, he's like, classic Winston and Cece mess around. She's like, that's not a thing. We don't hang out. And he's like, yeah.
It's very Janice from Friends. The way he does that. Like, he's just going to continue to stick himself in there until you love him. Like, he's going to make you love him.
Yeah. He's going to make himself indispensable to your life.
Yeah.
Just by being there.
And that is his roommates or his community. Like, he community hops, but he keeps them. Like, he doesn't
He builds a Winston community. Like, when all those people fucking show up to Ferguson's funeral.
Oh my God.
And the way that because it was a year after his funeral. So it was like they were holding a memoriam or whatever on exactly like the year anniversary. And Winston hadn't cried that whole time. So Allie was like, he has to cry or like he's going to like go insane. Like they're like, he has to do it. He has to let it out somehow.
Thank God someone gets him.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Thank God. Because I'm afraid for Winston in a world where someone doesn't.
That made me happiest. Like I felt like Allie was a good match, but then when they go into her storage unit and she reveals that she was on all those Japanese game shows where she won all that shit, and they fucking don't make it to work because they're bouncing on a trampoline.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah,
fucking fair.
That stuff looks amazing.
It was like. I was very happy Winston that he got he came into himself. He really did start making decisions. And he decided he was going to start making decisions. And then everything did start to fall into place for him. Like, even though some things were pranks. I'm sorry. I can't with him with the fucking pranks.
When the ending is a prank. The eviction notice for the loft.
That's psychotic. It's psychotic.
It's actually fucking psychotic. And the fucking back in the moving van was just like a picture of him. And he was like, I gotcha. And they're like
an
what?
anagram.
They're like, what is going on? What is happening? Like, you have to explain the whole thing.
Then Nick and Jess just go anyway. Like, whatever.
They're like, you actually helped us. We need to move on from this loft.
Yeah. Oh, man. He makes me cry. Like, I can't.
His whole thing with his dad, where he bonded with that random man off the street because they told him it was his dad. And then that was like, you seem like a pretty cool kid. If you ever want somebody to talk to you sometime, you can call me up. And Winston's like, no. He's like, yeah, that's fair.
You know who would have went with it? Nick would have taken it. There you go. Totally a not a Gryffindor at all. Totally a Hufflepuff. He definitely judges other people. Like
also, what the hell did they name their kid? Or Winston named because he was like, Ellie, you were asleep. Oh, it's something crazy.
Bill Bishop. Dan Bill.
And then Ellie's like, okay, now tell them that's a joke. And he's like, no, that's his name. I put it on the birth certificate.
What's wrong with him?
And then they don't change it.
They don't.
Ellie lets him keep it.
Yeah. He needs her. He needs that. Like,
yeah.
I really would worry about a world where he doesn't have someone who like gets him, and I worry. Winston is not.
They had like 5 kids too in that flash forward, which I totally see.
Winston's not your run-of-the-mill Hufflepuff. Winston is not amongst you. He is not.
No, he's very clearly.
He's like Always Sunny level of fucking insane. He would fit right in with the gang, I have to tell you. Him and Matt
I was actually just thinking that New Girl's not Always Sunny light, but there's some similar vibes there.
Yeah, there are.
Like, because
the level, it's the ridiculousness level of it all. It's like you can't believe.
And some of the stuff that they touch on that like Always Sunny like nails in is like very like the stuff I was talking about with Winston and Nick earlier.
Oh my god, what about
when
another huge Hufflepuff thing? Like, okay, so Hufflepuffs and Slytherins have this in common where they want to teach you a lesson, and like they're doing it to they think they're doing it to help you.
Yeah.
And sometimes
so you learn for yourself and do better next time. Yeah.
Sure. So sometimes it can be condescending, but sometimes it can be like, sometimes it works. So, but one of the times it's just fucked up is when Schmidt is like, Winston just doesn't have enough black friends. And I feel like he's not, like, I feel like he's not one with his community.
To his culture.
And, like, we're so white. And it's so, like, I'm so sad for him that he's always around these white people. And, like, I really want to help him. And Winston just fucking takes it and runs with it. He's like, oh, yeah? You want me to, like, go more into my black culture? And, like, you can tell he's not offended by it in a way that he gets mad at Schmidt. He takes it and turns it into a teachable moment.
Stupid. Yeah,
he's like, here's how fucking dumb you are. I want to go to a neighborhood and buy crack, Schmidt. I miss crack so much. And Schmidt's like, you miss crack? I'll take you for crack. And does it. And Winston, like, lets this whole fucking thing go on.
The man gets in the car and then they're all screaming at him.
They have this man get into the car.
Because they think he'll sell, they think he'll sell him crack. And then they believe he's a crack dealer. And then this man... for some reason, got into the car because they
That's why I say he could be on Always Sunny. Like, it's shit like that. Mm-hmm. And like, at the end of it, he taught Schmidt his lesson and whatever. But, like, he's laughing about it at the end. He thought it was fucking hilarious. Like, he genuinely... Who else is going to go that far? Nobody. He's 0 or 100. He's fucking crazy. I love it. I would just watch a Winston show.
I would too. Absolutely.
Did you see on TikTok, the actor who played Schmidt did like a dancing video, and then the actor for Winston, like, I don't know what the youths call it, but they like, he duetted it, I think that's what it's called, and he danced with them on the side too. It was so cute. It was so cute. I saw it like in the middle of the rewatch. It was weird.
If you watch Jake Johnson and Max Greenfield talk to each other in real life, it's literally just Schmidt.
Oh, that interview with the two of them? Yeah, it's just Nick and Schmidt.
In Nashville, or no, but there's also they did something during the pandemic where they were like on FaceTime with each other or something like that. And it's literally just like the way that they're like teasing each other is awful.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that for them. Well, you can't play characters that good without having a little bit. Like a little bit of them. And there's a lot of Nick Miller and Jake Johnson. Like, apparently he was in The Mummy, the remake with
oh, really? I didn't
Tom
know
Cruise. And I saw a TikTok and the girl was like, he's just Nick Miller in this. And he is.
He's Nick
just
Miller in
yelling.
Everything. He's everything I've ever seen him
the man
in.
is just Nick Miller.
He's just Nick Miller. Yeah. He's fucking Spider-Man in Across the Spider-Verse. It's just Nick Miller being Spider-Man. Like, I don't know what else to say about it.
So, classic Winston Cece, because they're besties. We can talk about Cece.
I had something else to say about Winston.
Oh, really? Keep going.
Yeah, no,
love
it
him.
was something really good, and I forgot.
Well, when you get it, come back to it.
Okay.
So for Cece, if you didn't like pick up on it already, when we said that her and Schmidt, and they've called this on the show, it's not just us, said that they were very similar.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they're in the same house. We have
Yeah.
a Slytherin pairing.
Interesting. This is the first one.
No, we had another one where we talked about it being the first one, and it was crazy. Can't remember what it was.
What was it?
Oh, Blair and Chuck.
Oh, duh. Yeah, they are insane. This is insane in a different way.
They simply get each other.
Mhm.
They from the moment from the moment they decide to give each other the time of day, they get each other. Like the moment they start taking each other seriously, it's very much like even when he fucks up, like and cheats on her, she's very deeply hurt by it. It really fucks her up. But she's able to be his friend after that.
And she also takes the time she needs. Like, I don't think she ever stops loving him. But she's like, no, this hurt me and it's unacceptable. And we are not together right now.
Cece is fully like unapologetic in everything that she does, which is very Slytherin. Like she needs time for herself. She needs time to recuperate, or she even needs time to just go out and get fucking drunk and be hungover the next day, and she's going to do it. But what I really like about her, and I feel it's distinctly Slytherin, is her ability to move on from a situation. She doesn't need to be a martyr. She doesn't need to drag it out. She doesn't need to, like, if she still wants you in her life, you'll still be there if she deems you, like, worthy of it. Because I'd have a hard time if I was Jess's friend and she said that shit about me in my career. Like, I'd have a hard time moving past that and forgiving it. But she's like,
but she says shit about Jess. Like, that whole episode where they fight. It's very Slytherin Hufflepuff, where it's like, we just never acknowledge it and then it's fine. Or like we do like something stupid and then we buy each other coffee and it's like very passive aggressive. So because if we actually fight, it's going to be a problem. It's
going to be horrible.
And then Nick fucking interferes and it's an actual fight. So yeah.
I really like their dynamic. I like their friendship. And I love the Slytherin and Cece loves when Jess is bad or is doing something bad. Like I love the flashbacks to childhood when Jess is freaking out and Cece's in the background just fucking losing it, just cracking up. It's like Nick and Schmidt, like how they're delighted by each other's weirdness. She's delighted by Jess's weirdness. It's why I think it's a lot of the reason that it works, because I don't think Jess would be easy in real life to be friends with, like exactly the way she is. Like there are people I've met and know that have some Jess in them for sure, but like the exact person that Jess is a lot. And Cece finds all the good in it, and the bad she calls out and calls her on her shit all the time.
Yeah.
So that's
she also like knows how to. Like this sounds so cold and clinical, but she knows how to utilize Jess. Like she knows when to bring her into a situation and when to be like, Jess doesn't need to be part of this. Like you know,
that's true. Yeah, I like their friendship. I think it's very it's a very genuine one. Like it comes from, I loved that she was Jess's first student. Like that made me cry. That was so cute.
I know.
It was such a like throwaway thing too, where she was just like, that wasn't your first student. I was your first student. And she like really helped her get on track. And I liked that. I also like that she doesn't take any of them in the loft seriously enough to get seriously offended by the things that they say to her or about her. It rolls off her because they're like,
I was gonna say too, like she actually genuinely, her and Nick do not like each other. Like they
I don't
don't
think
along.
So. Well, they fight pretty hard in the end.
They tolerate each other because of Jess. Like Cece thinks he's a weird little,
but
like,
Cece wants her to be with him.
No,
like she can see it
because she sees that Nick loves her, like genuinely, and Jess deserves that, and that Jess loves him. But she thinks Nick's like a weird little, you know, like unreliable
fucking weirdo,
rat boy. Yeah, she's like. He's disgusting and I don't know how you're with him. And Jess is like, I don't understand how you are standing with Schmidt right now. So I guess we're even. Like,
it's true. It's so interesting. It's another. So the Hufflepuff and Slytherin of Cece and Jess, and then the Hufflepuff Slytherin of Schmidt and Jess. That's so interesting because, like, when he cheats on her, Jess doesn't give him any fucking grace. She doesn't care that they're roommates. She doesn't care that it's like, she's just like, you fucked up. I don't care if this hurts you. Like, let it go. You know, she's always in Cece's corner, and Cece's always in hers. It's a very, very true friendship. I loved watching it.
Cece might be the one Slytherin that isn't into a Gryffindor.
Yeah, she's not swayed.
It's Nick's specific type of Gryffindor. It's just not her thing.
She can look at it and get it, but it's not for her. You know, she's like,
I'm not dealing with this.
I can understand that for you.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah.
And it's
Not my
very
thing.
much not.
She's a Slytherin Hufflepuff oriented Slytherin, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah. She's the opposite way of you.
Yes.
But when she, like, I just liked watching her journey and how even when she fucks up, she and Jess have this in common, and it might be a commonality between Slytherin and Hufflepuff House. When she fucks up, she owns it.
Yeah.
Like, there was that one guy from Australia that she was dating, and then she calls him a million times and, like, really scares him and freaks him out.
Mm-hmm.
When he comes to see her, she's like, so I figured you want to end it. It was pretty messed up. I was being crazy. Like, and that's very Cece. With everything. She's like, yeah, I probably went too far on that one. Sorry about it. We can move on, though.
Right.
Like, don't look at it too long. And even her whole relationship with Schmidt in the beginning, too, she had no problem, like, leaving him in a car with the window crack.
It's like a dog.
Like a dog. And he had no problem being her dog, really. Like, he was... What a dynamic. Oh, it's like Blair and Chuck, but reversed a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the opposite end. Yeah.
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 I love also his relationship to her boobs. And how
I
much
was
she
going to
loves them.
say, yeah. And she lets him have his stupid
She
little
lets him
conversation
have
with
it.
them. Yeah.
She just gets him. And it's Schmidt's difficult
or
to
like
understand.
she humors him even when she's
Yeah.
like, this is so fucking stupid. She's like, whatever, do what you want.
Yeah. She's so mellow. She's got to be middle of the road, man. Because she's not like internalizing and like logic all the way on the left end of the spectrum,
Mhm.
but she's not fucking crazy. We're like,
No.
Schmidt's all the way over. Schmidt's probably next to Loki. Like, I got to get him out of here. She's like, I think she's middle of the road. I do. Like, but she's hyper Slytherin. Like, everything,
Mhm.
again, it's one of those shows, it's like Community, where everything the characters do is dripping in their house.
Yeah.
Every line she has, very Slytherin. But like a calm one.
Yeah.
Ugh. It couldn't be me. The way she handles the breakup, the way she handles any kind of like her friends disappointing her, couldn't be me.
I mean, I guess I haven't been faced with this situation yet. Currently, I can't imagine like loving somebody so much that you forgive infidelity, but that just goes to show like how hard, like how high in her esteem Schmidt was, like how like ingrained he was in her circle. Like it's hard to get rid of that.
That's the problem, is that he was in the circle.
Yeah.
And he works at it and he grows and he
No, I
changes.
mean,
They
but
both
like you
develop and
can
change.
get rid of people in your circle, especially when they really, really hurt you.
She
It just
doesn't
goes
want
to
to,
show. It just goes to show like how
this
embedded he got in there.
goes to show how Slytherins can have toxic relationships, because if you really want to keep someone around, you'll find an excuse to do it,
Mm-hmm.
even if they're not good for you.
Well, yeah, I mean, I
Be
guess
careful
Blair
of
and
that out
Chuck
there.
fucking cheated on each other all the time, but like that
Yeah.
was the norm for them in
Well,
their
it works
social
in these
circle.
weird fucking TV show situations, but for the real
Yeah.
Slytherins out there, just be careful of that. Don't make excuses for people just because you want to keep them because you love them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Know your worth. A white man, no.
No. Typical.
Okay.
Talk about Coach real quick.
Coach, real quick. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you have this.
So I find Coach to be a Ravenclaw. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think he's the only Ravenclaw on the show. I think Coach is super fucking weird. And I think you're going to fucking kill me. I think his system and truth is coaching. And I'm dead fucking serious.
Are you talking about that episode when they first started calling him Coach and he was like, yep?
Everything is basketball. Everything is through a lens of being like the leader, like whether it's the gym personal trainer or trying to get Nick on a diet or trying to control a situation, and then he loses it and he can't. He has to text his mommy, and like he needs to be personifying Coach. Like the kids even get him the Coach jacket. It says Coach. His fucking name is Coach.
Name's Eugene.
No, it's not. It's Coach. Because everything he does is so through that lens. Like,
Oh, that's what I was going to talk about with Winston, that he managed to get the name Winston from Schmidt.
yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, okay.
No, that was a good point.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. All right. So, oh my God. All right. So, oh my God. All right. 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 he's so fucking mean in the first episode.
He is.
And it's because, and I think it's because this can happen. Again, I'm looking at it through a Ravenclaw lens. So I think it was a very cold, like, logical thing. Like, no, she can't stay here. I don't want to deal with this. And then she starts talking about her feelings. And he's like, shut up. I don't care. I don't care. I can't even pretend to care about it. Like, he just, cold, hard honesty.
Well, because that's his background, right? Like, when they find, he's like, he was an army brat, so he always moved around as a kid. So he's like, I can't get attached to people because we're just going to leave. Just gonna leave.
Yeah.
Like when he leaves to go live in New York and Winston's trying to get him to fucking take that skillet because they bought it on the TV network at like midnight, and he's like I can't take things. These but he says something really poignant where he's like memories are useless and they happened in the past. Like they don't matter anymore.
It also like lent itself to my argument that he is the one who comes in and goes and like which is a very Ravenclaw thing, but it's also his general demeanor and how he approaches like friendships. Jess really wants to be his friend, but he's locked himself up in his room for a basketball season.
Like, he doesn't get it when Nick goes to him and is like, Jess really wants to be your friend.
He doesn't get it at all.
He was like, I thought we were like, you know, she hangs around me. So like,
yeah, and it's almost like he does like a mimic.
Nick's so funny in that fucking conversation too. He's like, you know, when you're sitting there and you're like, I wonder what a seal with arms would be like. You just say that shit to Jess, and then she's delighted by it.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, this is a weirdness I can latch onto. Fine. Yeah. All right. I think he... Oh, damn it. I lost the thought. So sad that keeps happening to me today.
There was like a throwaway. It was supposed to be throwaway. The fucking Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode when they're in New York, and it's like the end credits when they run into Coach, and he was like, you guys were in New York, and you weren't even going to tell me? And they were like... and he's like, I'm not mad because I've been to LA like 5 times. And I never told any of you.
And he's like, it's a little bit Phoebe Buffet to me.
Yeah.
And he like, I saw it too on his date with Cece. It's almost like he's mimicking what a human should be and how they should be acting. Where he's like, hey, yo, guy, give me 7 hot dogs right now. And just covers her in the gear. And he's texting his mom on the side like, Mom, how do I be normal and date this girl? Like, it's... I think that's all I got for my argument, but I feel very attached.
I believe
to
it. I believe it.
His system is coaching. And when I saw it, I couldn't watch him anymore. I would just fucking cry. I would just cry laughing. I was like, you fucking weirdo.
I fucking love. I'm sad that he wasn't in more.
Me too. So him and Winston and him and like him and Winston were so
Jess,
weird
actually,
together.
When he was working at the school, was actually really funny too.
Oh my God, I loved that.
When he fucking when when he was at the teachers conference and they were like, "Oh, health class is hard to teach," and he had the existential crisis over it. He's gonna jump off the pool house.
when he gets fired, she has to fire him, and he's.
You're right. He's like mimicking it like a human when he's like, this is Ken. Ken's my best friend now. He's like, yo, Ken, let me get your number. And he's like, I have a Gmail. And he calls it Gmail.
He was like, the fact that it took so long for the edible to hit him. He's like, I'm completely fine, actually. This is like, absolutely nothing has happened to me. Maybe I can't get high. Like, it's fucking weird. Or like when the one of the only times you see him get genuinely emotional is when it's when he gets fired from coaching. Like he can't handle it. He's like, I'm gonna miss those kids, and little Timmy's so stupid. He doesn't have a hope in this world. And he's like crying. Oh my God.
There's the gag where Jess gets hit with the ball like twice that episode. He cracks up every time. He's not even worried about her.
His relationship to the Hufflepuffs, they're my 2 favorite dynamics on the show.
Yeah. They put him in that last season for 1 episode for the Ferguson funeral episode, and it's to fucking have that fight with Nick over money, and it's the fucking funniest thing in the world. They're being
Nick and money.
So mean to each other, like really genuinely mean.
Really mean. That's another thing with Winston and Nick too. Winston and Nick have the money thing. They have the money problem. Because, okay, I get this, okay? I get this. Like, I will pay for everything for everyone all the time, and I don't care, and like I won't ask for it back. I don't care. And I can see taking it personally if someone asks for money back. Like I can see it. I don't always, obviously, like that's life. You pay people back for things. But
this was $50,000.
No, not that.
Oh,
His
Winston
thing
and
with
Nick.
Winston.
When Winston was like, you owe me $200.
When me and George were watching, I was like, how fucking dare Winston ask him of this? Like, as if Nick wouldn't just do this for him. And George is like,
Nick wouldn't.
George is like, you have to pay back, you know, like, he owes it to him. And I'm like,
and also Nick
I'm
never
like,
pays
whatever.
for anything. That's part of Winston's problem.
I know.
He literally in that episode was like, oh, I forgot my wallet.
It's because Nick does this thing where he gets so offended by rich people and people with money. And he's such a
It's like the proletariat are coming after me.
Don't trust your government, kids. He's so fucking funny with that. And Winston is
I
like,
don't trust banks. Oh, that's one of his weird things that he don't trust banks.
But Winston like makes
For technology, he's like, they're gonna take my brain. They're gonna take my information.
And the way Jess makes him feel good is by like throwing a fit over the $8 surcharge. He's like, I can't believe these guys trying to get $8 out of me. But Winston like writes a speech. He writes a whole speech about how he needs the money back. And Nick's like, I get where you're going with this. And he's like, and I know you're gonna say you get where I'm going with this, but I am going to continue reading every single word that I wrote here on this paper. And then there's a it's so weirdly Hufflepuff and Gryffindor. I don't even remember. Does that come back up again?
It comes
Between
up occasionally
Nick?
as like a Winston.
Yeah.
They work out something where Nick does something, and then Winston like is like, okay, you don't owe me money anymore. But like they continue to like make jabs at like Nick doesn't pay for shit. Like,
yep. He does make him his fruity little drinks that make him so naughty, Nick.
True.
They make me so naughty.
Oh my God. For Schmidt and Cece's wedding, when Coach and Winston were in charge of baking the cake, and they had the fucking cake off.
For Jess's birthday.
Oh, there's
like
Jess's
merges.
birthday?
It merges and becomes one
that's
cake,
right.
And they make it a Jess cake.
Yeah.
Yo, Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw dynamic, again, bizarre, delightful.
Yeah. Bizarre and delightful. Yeah.
They
Exactly
just don't naturally get each other, but when they get each other, it's amazing.
I don't think they ever get each other. I just think sometimes they decide to ignore it, and that's when it's great.
Okay, Ravenclaw Hufflepuff people out there.
Yeah.
Do you really understand your Ravenclaw friend? Do you really understand your Hufflepuff friend? Or do you just love them so much you just overlook the things that
Just
piss you
deal
off
with it.
on a like biological level?
You just ignore that gut feeling that's like, you should
You're
be viscerally
deeply wrong.
Yes. Yeah.
You ever get sick of your Hufflepuff friend trying to use things to be a teachable moment? Or you ever get sick of your Ravenclaw
everything.
friend? Like having a new obsession with a different kind of plant or sugar or like fucking rock each week. I'm getting real specific with it, but I actually really, really love hearing from people about their houses and their relationships with people. It's happened a couple of times, so please feel free to reach out and tell us more about that. I like hearing from you. So contact me. I'll give you my personal phone number.
She's been begging for the Hufflepuff Ravenclaws.
Dude, I think from day one of this podcast,
yeah,
I've been begging for
Lily.
it.
Yeah.
I'm not even fucking kidding.
She's trying to get a specific couple to reach out to us. It's not going to happen, but
it will happen. It will happen. One day it will happen. You're almost going to make me say the thing that I say about Hufflepuffs that you and Hannah say I'm not allowed to say about Hufflepuffs anymore.
No, because
it's not relevant. I just remembered that I wanted to do it.
She's like, I just want to say it.
I had an intrusive
That
thought.
was very Gryffindor.
It almost won.
Nick Miller almost jumped out.
Get the fuck back in. Get the fuck back in. Oh, God. Who's the character for you that you see reflected in yourself so much that it sickens you?
That it sickens me? I mean, I love myself. So when I see characters
never mind.
reflected,
Can't relate.
What the fuck? Who was I just talking about that I was trying to claim and you wouldn't give me her exactly? You said I'm Natasha exactly. Who was it?
Was it Kate?
Yeah.
Kate Bishop?
No. I feel like it was.
I think it was Kate Bishop. Because
You're
like
more recent than that.
Exactly Natasha, so.
Well, I mean, I do want to claim. I think I'm pretty close to Kate Bishop.
I don't know.
Wow.
There's some differences there.
Wow.
There's similarities, don't get me wrong. There's some differences. You'd be best friends, though.
We would be best friends.
Yeah, I'm deeply disgusted by the people that I fall near and around, except one that we haven't talked about
I
yet.
was going to say,
who I really like.
Wanda. Yeah.
She doesn't fall near me, though.
No, she doesn't. She's on the opposite end of the scale from you.
It's okay. There's another one that falls right near me that we haven't talked about that I really like. We'll get there.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you do. You do. Just don't remember.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway. Our next
This was a fun 2-hour episode.
It was. And we got through a lot of people in 2 hours. I'm surprised. Our next episode's our 50th episode. I genuinely can't believe we have committed to this for 50 episodes.
No, I can't believe I've committed to this for 50 episodes. I can believe you still be here. I cannot believe I'm
when
still
I
here.
get bored with something, I'm like, it's not a lot of effort. But I'm
in your
bored,
circle. You
so-
can't quit me, and you
True,
can't
I
quit
cannot
this,
quit
so.
you. Nope. It's like a forcing Rachel to spend time with me is what this podcast does. So
This is my Michael Keaton letter to her.
but yeah, we're that episode is next, which means it needs to be recorded in
It's
a
a
week.
surprise.
Yeah.
It's a surprise. We have a plan. It's a surprise.
Yeah, we have a really, really, really big plan that it's special.
It's
we're
going to be
do.
a fun, special one. And that's all you need to know. So, just
stop being so nosy.
Yeah, really.
I don't think that you need to be aware of
It's
our
none of your business.
entertainment plans. So when it comes out, listen to it. That's your job.
Don't trust your government. That's all I have to say to you. All right.
Yeah. And then after that, we're going to get into Rachel's favorite month and get to do her Addams Family.
Well, I mean, we're already in my
When
favorite
does that
season.
show come out so I can watch it, so I can sort these people?
I don't remember.
September. I know.
Yeah.
But September what?
Don't know. But I can't wait. We'll be sorting specifically from that show, not going into the Addams Family values and Addams Family classics.
Comics.
Although I have a feeling they'll overlap. I do have a feeling they will overlap.
We will not be talking about Pubert.
My favorite. All right. Okay. Please leave us 5 stars. I'm literally begging you from the bottom of my heart. I need to feed my family. And we only eat stars from Apple Podcasts.
What are they for, fucking Mario?
Yeah, so if you're so inclined.
Rachel.
What?
Tim Burton's Wednesday not coming to Netflix in time for Halloween?
Tim Burton, you've disappointed me once again. This is becoming an ongoing trend.
We're not going to be able to do it if it's not coming out in September.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Whatever.
Well, we might have just lied to you, so.
Whatever. I'm here for whatever we'll do and decide. You're not getting rid of me that easy. So yeah, leave the 5 stars and come back and keep coming back. And then go back and re-listen to other episodes and shit. Because they're fun and good. Thank you very much.
It's true. Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Sort of Brilliant. If our sorting choices inspired any rage or excitement, we'd love to hear from you. We're open to feedback, suggestions for characters to sort, and solid counter-arguments with citations.
Never forget your citations. You can find us hanging out on Twitter and Instagram at SOB_pod or shoot us an email at sortofbrilliant@gmail.com.
And since we're not above begging, please rate and subscribe to Sort of Brilliant on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please share our posts on social media. And if you're a Gryffindor, maybe you'll inspire sorting fights among your own friend group.
The theme music is Hot Shot by Scott Holmes. Can't wait to sort with you again next time. Bye!